I believe that the best way to learn culture and traditions of any country is to try their national cuisine. So fasten your seatbelts, because today I invite you to my kitchen, where we're gonna learn with you how to cook authentic Belarusian DRANIKI according to my grandmother's recipe. Be sure to watch this video till the end, because we will not only cook today, but I will also tell you the history, why it happened that Belarusian people many times associated with potatoes. Also, we're gonna learn a couple of new words on this topic in Russian and Belarusian languages. So let's get started. To cook draniki according to my grandmother's recipe, we will need around 400 or 500 grams of potatoes, which I already cleaned before, around 2 spoons of wheat flour. As well, we will add 1 egg, some salt, and of course pepper. Later, when draniki are ready, we will serve it together with a bit of sour cream. And I'll start by grating the potatoes on the smaller grater. This is very important for our authentic draniki. And also you can see that after cleaning the potatoes, I put them into the water. In this way they will not become dark. So the potatoes were brought from Holland, actually around 3 centuries ago. The very first city who got it was the city of Grodno. And in the first 100 years, Belarusians were getting used to potatoes. You know, only 20% of population were actually able to eat potatoes. But later, of course, step by step, for Belarusian people it became normal, and they started to add potatoes to different meals. And then Belarusian people realized that potatoes can be actually added to almost any meal in general. And when it was a very bad wheat crop season, they actually were changing potatoes and added potatoes into the bread, so instead of wheat. And at the end of the day, potatoes became kind of savor of the day. And exactly because of that, potatoes are considered as a second bread in Belarus. And also because potatoes obviously saved Belarusians during the Hungary War, yes. And in 1953, in one of the cookbooks, draniki were mentioned actually for the very first time in the history as a national meal of Soviet Belarus. And today in Belarus there are more than 100 recipes for draniki. They can be made also with meat and vegetables, but you and I, we are preparing exactly the recipe from my grandmother. She was living on kind of border between Brest and Minsk regions. So this is exactly where this recipe was popular. And it's also interesting to know that in Belarus were cultivated around 55 unique sorts of potatoes, and 150 years ago only 2% of Belarusian fields were planted with potatoes, while today it's actually 70%. And while I work here, I can tell you also a bit about myself. As you know, I work in tourism for more than 10 years already, and when COVID came, unfortunately, we had no job. Even Belarus had no lockdown, but since to work in tourism, of course, you need some other countries to be able to work. So I was thinking, what else can I do? And one of my friends, he gave me an idea of creating a YouTube channel, and I was thinking, yeah, why not? I know English, there were no such channels before, and yeah, I have started. Here you are with me cooking draniki on my kitchen. So yeah, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and let's grow it. Let's show people all around the world that Belarus is beautiful. It's which kind of comments you send to me every day. You share that you're so much surprised that Belarus is such a nice country, very clean, very safe, nothing bad is gonna happen to any tourist in our country. So many disinformation. Yeah, you should know that you can easily come to Belarus and you will enjoy your time in our country. So I finished with grating potatoes, and I put also on such kind of plates potatoes so that extra water is getting out. And after that we get another plate and we simply grab into here, and we're gonna work with this part. Now it's time to add some other ingredients. 2 big spoons of flour. Maybe later I add a bit more, let's see. So, great. We need some salt, a little bit, not so much. I actually have really great salt from a sea, maybe a bit more. Then we need also some pepper. Here we go. And then we simply all these trying to put together. Also, I'm gonna share with you one secret ingredient which my grandmother used. It is basically the way how she was frying draniki. So instead of cooking oil, she was using melted pork fat. As you can understand, it's not that easy today for us to get it. That's why I'm gonna follow advice of my Asian chefs, which I know they all fry things on the coconut oil, and this is also healthier way, I believe. You can see that Asian people, they live longer and they also look better. So let's fry on a coconut oil today, why not? And I also want to explain you why this recipe is considered as a recipe for authentic Belarusian draniki. So as you can understand, nowadays many restaurants, they trying to do this process of preparing draniki as fast as possible. That's why they use many times some kitchen machines, they use some ingredients which are kind of powder but not real ingredients. And here we are in the kitchen, we cook everything with our hands, with the real natural ingredients, and this is the reason why this recipe is considered authentic, and this is exactly the way how my relatives in past were cooking draniki. And also it's important to notice that such kind of recipe of draniki with manual way of doing things, it is included into the historical and cultural heritage of Belarus. So it's time for us right now to prepare our skillet. So I put on a max. We need quite a lot of oil. While I'm waiting when the skillet is ready, I will just teach you a couple of words on this topic. Probably the best word to learn here is of course potato. So potato in Russian language sounds as kartoffel, kartoffel, and in Belarusian language is bulba, bulba. So our skillet is actually ready, and I simply gonna put like this with spoon around 2. Here we go. Here as well. I think 3 is enough so far. Be sure it's not burning. So on each side you don't need, to wait so long, maybe like 2 minutes, 1 minute, up to your skillet, and then we simply turn it on the other side. Couple of seconds more and then we are ready with first 3 draniki. And as I mentioned earlier, we serve it later with sour cream. When my grandparents were younger, they made different kind of dairy products by themselves, literally. First one, second one, and third one. So my friends, here are our draniki. We did a great job, the smell is so good. And as I promised you, we need to serve draniki with sour cream. And also here I have this beautiful basil, so I'm gonna grab a couple of leaves and serve it together. Don't forget to clean. Just a second. Here's our basil, smells also fantastic. Смачно есть. It means in Belarusian language bon appetit, or in Russian language приятного аппетита. And be sure to tag me on Instagram in case if you're gonna use my grandmother's recipe for draniki. I'm very excited to see how it's gonna look like in your case and how tasty it was for you. Don't be jealous of me right now because I'm going to taste actually our draniki. And if you're right now in Minsk and think where you can actually taste authentic Belarusian draniki, then be sure to check out this video on your screen where I have collected for you 20 best restaurants in Minsk, and 2 of them prepare national Belarusian cuisine, and definitely there you will find authentic Belarusian draniki.